Well, there it is, election season. Damn yard signs keep popping up everywhere.
And good morning, and welcome to another early morning Sunday show, which we're now on the official no longer daylight savings. So extra early today. Cheers. The opening, my local store made these full vinyl signs, so we put he put those up all over the place, and I put one in my yard, because it's campaign. Thank God election season ends on Tuesday, because I'm really missing all the TV commercials from drug companies and lawyers. They've been taken over by just political ads, and though I get a lot of mail, I talk about a waste of money. All this mail they send, because I don't even look at one thing. It's just into the trash. But hey, the opening, the deer that was in my backyard, I watched him grow this summer. He's just getting bigger and bigger. He is a big ass buck. I mean, just strong. The other day I saw him out there, and there was a doe and her two yearlings were there, and they saw him come. The two yearlings took off running. The doe tries to go around him, and he just comes at her and just starts, chases her away. They don't want people screwing with them, so interesting. Watched him grow and get big. 8 points, I believe, he's an 8-point buck. And finally last night went and the Midland Symphony did Mozart's Requiem. 100-person choir they brought in from a couple of different colleges. Very, very fun. That was great. I love the Requiem. Such a dark, brooding piece by Mozart. It's a nice time. So yeah, I went to a concert. Yeah, it wasn't really like Pink Floyd, but it was good. But we're going to get going, because we got a lot to. I don't know if I'll get this all shown or not, but we're going to give it a try. So the first, I'm beginning with a VCLT was sent me, and this is really special. 2 years ago, and I just talked about him a week or 2 weeks ago, Florenzen, and this was the album he put out a couple years ago, and it was my favorite album at that time. Really, really loved it. And so there's really, here we go. Yeah, meow. You see, it got a cut on the back. Someone was in a fight yesterday, and we didn't know he was bleeding until later, and it's like, hey, what the hell is this? And so it's not, we gotta try and get blood cleaned off of him. So wasn't like a terrible gash, but white fur, blood doesn't work. And now we're going to just say meow. Yes, sit down. Sit. Yes, everyone knows you got a cut now. I told them, all right. And so this album, I absolutely, I still love. I've yet to put it away. It stays put out because I play it all the time. Well, Jacob, hey, dude, we're trying to show something here, okay? Are you going to sit? Sit. Yeah, right. So, Jacob Florenzen put out the new album that I showed from Lutzut, which is on the t-shirt. Jacob sent me this t-shirt, and he went and saw Lutzut in concert. And there is a picture of Jacob with Florenzen. And Jacob said, hey, I got something special coming. And he wasn't kidding. And this was probably one of the most emotional. I deleted the video I did of me opening it, because I sent it to Jacob. He's in Denmark. But it's probably the most emotional opening I've ever done, because this was so incredibly special. And oh yeah, I got another Lutzut, and then this is Florenzen's second album, and they're autographed. This one's by autographed it to Steve, and this is by the whole group that was autographed. When I did his best album of the year, he commented on it. Florenzen commented on my video, and maybe Jacob told him it was there or whatever. But it was pretty amazing. So excited. But these two albums were sent autographed, and it's just extremely special because this is such a favorite group of mine. And you know, I talked about this one a couple weeks ago, and it's again an album I'm really digging. This Lutsut, you know, you can find it on Bandcamp. It's from Bad Afro Records. It is just hard rock, psyche, wah fun. It's the best I can tell you about it. So good. You look at that, you know, the picture there you could see, and these guys are just rocking and having a great time. Really, just an outstanding album. No doubt will be a top 10 album for me this year. But this one here, this is Uflorence's second solo album, and it was just like this is more like folk psych. And you know, yeah, as I mentioned, Uflorenzen, he was in Baby Wood Rose. He formed that group, Spoods Nugut. It's a Danish name. It's another group, but it's just a trippy, spacey rock. Jacob sent me one of their albums, and Jacob's always been very good to me since I've been in the VC. Just been an incredible friend. But this one's called Trip Report, something like that. And it is, I said, folky, psyche. It's his second solo album. It was written, he wrote this, he wrote it himself. He went out to the country. I guess the weather was bad. He was in a house. So he wrote this with the assistance of a bag of mushrooms. Took the mushrooms and away we went. And that's kind of how it works too, because it is basically, it's like it's a concept album. It starts with this trip through space, but somehow winds up on a river, going by a female shaman, and some other stuff happens, and then there's death and rebirth. It's all done in Danish, so it wasn't like I was interpreting this really well, but it was just, it's really cool stuff. I'm not a big fan of folk psych, but I like this. I like this one a lot. You know, Uflorenzen, he sings, he plays almost all the instruments himself. And you have, you know, your typical, when you think of folk psych, you have a mellotron, there's some fuzz guitar, there's flute, synth, there's sitar on here. It's trippy. It's, you kind of float along. You can feel this journey. I mean, you feel the journey through the music. It's spacey, and it's really relaxing. Just really good. And you know, Jacob, his channel is New Sound and Old, and New Sounds and Old. And as I mentioned last time, he doesn't post a lot, but when he does, it's really, I just love his content. I bought a lot because of things he's listened to. So super excited to get this, both of these, you know, autographed personally, and I couldn't. It was very emotional. It almost brought tears to my eyes. I was so emotional, and of course this wonderful T-shirt, Lutsut, which no one will ever. They'll just think, what's wrong with your T-shirt? We don't get it. So, and there it is. Thank you, Jacob. Moving on to another brand new album from this year, we have The Sacred Souls, and I saw this on a couple channels, and I think John Digital Gramophone. I finally said, "Yeah, man, you would really, really like this." So Sacred Souls, they're out of San Diego. They got it's from Daptone. They actually got a record label fairly quick because they were playing in a club and someone from Daptone was there, heard it, and says, "Hey, would you like to be on our? We'd like to sign you." Pretty cool vinyl, isn't that? The music here, it's 60s soul with a little bit of R&B grit. Probably the easiest way to say. It's retro soul, but yet still has a very modern twist to it. There's a picture of the group. You can see that. The lead singer is John Lane, and he has just this incredible high falsetto. Big looking guy, but really nice falsetto. Also on here, the other two main members is Alex Garcia on drums and Sal Samano on bass. Don't they look like brothers? I guess they're not brothers, but they both have what we used to call porn star mustaches. I guess porn star mustaches must be coming back, but man, they look the same. Unbelievable. The album, it's rich productions. It has very slick grooves on here. The tunes are very relaxed. It's perfect to slow dance to. It is retro soul for a candlelit night. Very, very cool. Nice sounding stuff. Neat. If you like soul music and you like 60s soul, you like Al Green, you're going to like this, The Sacred Souls. Very nice. Can I call you Rose? Cause your roots have the power to consume me. I wanna plant you in my heart. Moving on. The Movers. Moving on to the Movers. Okay, if you're going to move on, you got to have some movers. And they came out of South Africa. This is from Analog Africa. And they're a group out of Soweto from 69 to 80. And they got their name from the Movers because they said, our music's going to make you move. And they started as an instrumental band playing jazz, soul, and funk type music. But they had a 69, they put out an album, and the album was called, Cry Guitar. And it sold worldwide, from what I believe, 500,000 copies. Now, of an African group to sell 500,000 copies is unheard of, especially down in South Africa. But even the whites were buying it. And in 1970, they brought in a vocalist. His name was Blondie, and he was only 14 years old. They also added female vocalists in. They had a song called Hopeless Love, and it was the first song to ever be played on white radio. Otherwise, even, radio was, segregated. But this group had become so big, and white record producers were helped book these people around because there was money to be made. It wasn't because they were doing it because it's the right thing to do. No, these guys are really good and we can make some money off of them. So they began help to book them and, get them gigs. The music it's very soulful, but has a really funky vibe. Like the first two albums I brought up, it has a really relaxed feel. This is a really relaxing kind of show today, isn't it? This is very laid back, and that's what you kind of get out of here. It's really dominated by the organ, but there's also a very strong rhythm section going on behind this organ. So cool stuff. It's another great album from Analog Africa. They're dipping into South African music now. They're probably running out of things out of Nigeria and Cameroon, but great stuff. Dom from Seek and the Thread was selling some albums, and I wound up and he had this one he was selling, and it's Green on Red. This is their very first one, and it is just called Gravity Talks. Green on Red came out of Tuscaloosa, Arizona, 79 to 92. They're actually, where they formed, they're called the Surfers. They moved to California, the Surfers, S-E-R-F-E-R-S. And they said, we should probably change our name because everyone's going to think we are a surf band. Good call. Good call. So they changed their name to Green on Red. And this is on Slash Records. They're one of the groups that's started being considered part of the Paisley Underground. And the song, which I'll play their hit off of here, Gravity Talks, college radio hit, is really big. You find compilations on 80s college rock or Paisley Underground. Gravity Talks usually always is on there. Just an incredible song. I love it. But their real love, and where they really began to turn to, is more of the country rock. And that was what they wanted, kind of like a John Fogerty spiked with Rocky Erickson. That was kind of where they began to move. So that's where kind of a lot of their music came. But this album was produced in 1983. There is a tinge of psychedelic on here. Due to organs. They have the organ, and they play it a lot. That's the singer, sings okay. I actually like it. His voice might not be for everyone, but this is one of these albums that I really, really have wanted for a long time and I never had, and there it was. The lyrics are down and out. This is not a cheerful album. They aren't singing about love and everything like that. It's more about, God, a lot of things in life suck. Broke up with my girlfriend, but great stuff. Green on Red, really good group from the 80s that I like. I have got another one of their albums coming, and I think I have most all of them, so good to see. Barcades, look at that. Just have had these for a little bit now. 2 Barcades for one. This was they came out of Memphis from 64 to 89 and reformed in 91. They were session musicians for the Stax. That's where the Barcades came from, session musicians for Stax. They were also Otis Redding's backing band, and it was an 8-person orchestra. Well, 4 of them were on the famous Otis Redding flight that went down. So half the group died with Otis Redding. Well, they reformed and got themselves back going again. Where for Stax, they have been the backing band for just tons of different artists. They had a big hit. I mean, they had some other ones, but their biggest one was in 1967 called Soul Finger. Soul Finger, and if you heard it, you would know it. It was very, very big, and did quite well. Got a Groove. This is their second album. and this came out in 1969. This one is mostly instrumental. It's off the Volt, which was like the Stax's different album, part of Stax. And Got a Groove, it's mostly instrumental. And it is just, you feel, yeah, basically it is made so you got a groove. It's kind of funky. It's that Stax soul sound. And lots of horns in there. Obviously, it's an 8-piece band, but it just sounds pure Stax. Very good stuff. Don't Stop Dancing to the Music Part 1 and Don't Start Dancing to the Music Part 2's on here. They do their own version of Hey Jude, and it's just mostly instrumental. There is some vocal, but not a lot. Then they had this one that came out. And this is their 4th album. This is, I mean, their 5th album. 5th album came out in 1974, Cold Blooded. Isn't that something, huh? And we got a, again, Volt label. Open that up. Ooh. Now, you can tell we're getting into, you know, Parliament Funkadelics is really had an effect on groups. Everyone started really kind of changing how they were looking. We'll call that the yeah, the Parliament Funkadelic effect, right? This one has more vocals on it. They began to sing a lot more. It is, it has really funky bass and drums going on. It's just that James Brown bass and drum type feel happening, and it just gives it a tougher sound. There's also a tinge of disco. You can hear it in there. You can feel it where it would be, you know, hey, we're trying to make it so for the club scene that's happening as disco was beginning to rise. Not disco album, not whatsoever, but there's a tinge of it. But just a funky album. A lot of fun. Both of these are really good. If you find the first Barquet album, I think that thing would be really, really awesome. But, you know, excellent to have in a soul funk collection. Grant Green, we got this here. This is Am I Blue from Grant Green. This is a repress, and this is off the Applause label. So it was originally done on Blue Note. And it seems weird, and they wrote side 1 on here, which helped. You know, this is really, see, they wrote side 1 twice, though it says side 1 on there. I'm not quite sure why that is. But I never would have thought that a different record label would be able to repress some of the Blue Note albums. But yeah, and this was originally recorded by Rudy Van Gelder, right? So Grant Green is on here. Obviously, it is. You have Joe Henderson plays tenor sax, which is neat. There's a lot of drums on this by John Patton, and then you got Dixon on drums, Johnny Cole on trumpet. But it's okay. I wasn't blown away by this. It's a lot of standards. So they play like I Am Blue, that was sung by Billie Holiday, and Ray Charles sang that. You have For All We Know, a song that was done by, sung by Nat King Cole. You have Take These Chains From My Heart. Again, Ray Charles made that. You have these different soulful sounds, and there's just really nothing earth-shattering. A little more organ than I really like to hear in my jazz. Green's playing is subdued. It doesn't go anywhere different. To me, it seemed more straightforward interpretations of these songs. Yeah, it wasn't very peppy, and it was a great price. I think this is one of my $5 albums, and it's in the shrink. Look at that. It's in the shrink. And yes, for 84 in the shrink, and it is not warped whatsoever. So, yeah, Grant Green, it's okay. Final one. I think I'm getting through these. My samples this week, by the way, it's just like, oh my God, if I was trying to, they were all copyrighted. Now I can still play them. They're just copyrighted, but it's not a strike against me. I monetize and make nothing. But we have the Tourists, and the Tourists is best known as the band that started Dave Stewart and Annie Lennox. And Dave Stewart, actually, he was in a different band called the Long Dancers. And then they decided to form a group with called The Catch, which turned into the Tourists. Annie Lennox was a college student, but wanted to be a singer, and so she got in with them, and they did 3 albums. This is a white label promo, kind of fun. So the Tourists, they did formed in 76, broke up in 80, became the Eurythmics. They did 3 albums, 2 in 1979, 1 in 1980. This is their second album, Reality Effects. This is great. It is rock, man. It is rock and pop. You do not feel your Eurythmics that much in it. It's hard-edged rocking songs. The focus is on the guitar and on the drum. All the focus. Very enjoyable album. Very upbeat, good new wave rockers. I was just really surprised how well this is. I used to have another album by the Tourists that was okay. I've never had this one, and it was really neat. They had a hit on here. It was they redid Dusty Springfield, I Only Want to Be With You. Annie Lennox voice, of course, wonderful for all of that, and it did quite well. I think it went to number 83 in the U.S. And number 10 in Australia. So something for a young Ben Rankins, for Mike. Great stuff. If you see it, it's not an expensive album, but man, I really, really liked it. And look, he even tore out the promo thing. How about that? Gold label promo. They ripped it off because it said not for resale. I take it off. It's like a mattress pad. You take off the tag. I guess you can do whatever you want with it. So, good stuff. All right, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for doing that. I think we'll do my favorite albums from 1979 on my midweek. I also got this Ghetto Records box set to show, but we'll see. I got a lot to do. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. Have yourself a great week. Bye.